This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I'm here today to work on a card from Geared Up Garage. It's a new set from our Occasions catalog. I've been really anxious for a good set for men's cards, and we finally got one. I'm so thrilled about it that I've actually made an online class. I have set up a Facebook group that is what I'm going to call our online classroom. Within that online classroom, you will have PDF tutorials, you will have video tutorials, there will be photos, you can interact with me, you can interact with other students. For $15, you get access to just that. For $20, I send you all of the materials in this that will make 9 cards. And then if you buy the bundle, the stamp set, the framelits, and the Stampin blends to go with it, then I send you all the materials and you get access to the class for free. So it's kind of exciting. I've already had some people register and their kits are already on their way. Today we're going to be working on another card that goes perfectly with that. I always get that backwards. This is the card we're working on today, and we're going to be playing with the embossing paste, which is what I've used in the background here, that has kind of a raised feel. It feels like embossing powder, but it goes on a little bit differently, so we'll work on how to do that today. And then just talk a little bit about the bundle and some of the new exciting stuff going on for Celebration. So let's move you down to the workspace. Okay, so here we are. This is the bundle that I said we're going to be working with. This is the Geared Up Garage. It works for Father's Day, for Valentine's Day, birthdays. It's good for all sorts of occasions. And it comes with these coordinating dies. And there's a whole suite. So there's going to be ribbon and little trinkets that are little keys. They're really super cute. And then designer series paper, and out of the designer series paper you can actually use the dies to cut pieces out of the designer series paper. Like there's this, and then there were see these little pieces. If you match up the dies and then run it through the Big Shot, it'll actually cut out the little gears. It cuts out all of them. So the entire sheet of designer series paper can be cut up. You get 3 of the big sections of dies and then all of the little ones cut out as well. So that was super fun to find out. I've been playing around a lot with those. In today's card, like I said, we're going to be using embossing paste. And so that's what this is here. And for the embossing paste, what I do is I have our silicone mat, because this is easy to clean off. And then I'm going to set a piece of basic gray cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. And then we're going to layer it onto a basic black background. And that card base is your 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. That's just standard. This is one of the masks that comes in our mask set. This is actually little bricks. And I thought that would be great behind the car. We have a set of these little spatulas that you can use to spread the embossing paste with. So I'm going to use one of those. And I'm going to be using silver embossing paste. I don't even remember if this one's still available, but I know we have white. And the thing is that you can add any color to our white. So you could add a couple drops of basic gray, you could add pink, you could add red, and you can turn our white embossing paste almost any color you want. So this one, what I'm going to do is open it up and show you. And I have not had issues with it drying out. Some people have asked me, you know, will it dry out? I have not had that problem. As you can see, it's all still pretty wet, and I've opened this 2 months ago. I mean, so it's been a while. And so I just kind of stir it up, and then I'm going to plop some down onto the thing, and I'm going to try to keep it straight. And then I'm going to use the spatula to just kind of maneuver it back and forth. And I'm not quite going all the way to the edge because I don't want it to cover the entire back this time. I just want to do portions of it. So then I just take the excess, I don't know if you can see, but there's some excess, and I'm just going to put it right back in the container. And then I'm going to come back and gather some more until I feel like I've got it all cleared off. And then you would want to wash these right away. I have not had any problems with the stuff sticking to them unless I let it sit for far too long. And then you would need to soak the tools, the mask and the spatula, in some hot water for a while in order to get it to release. But see how cute that comes off? So that's our background, and through the magic of video, I'm going to move this one out of the way and bring in a dry one. So voila, that's what it would look like after you've let it dry. I did a bunch of them yesterday so I'm going to list them on my Etsy store. So I did like, I don't know, 10 of them and left them out for a couple hours, and then they were dry. So, dog's running nuts upstairs. They were much better in the morning. I prefer to leave them overnight if it's possible. You can heat them with the heat tool and it'll speed up the drying process. But overnight is best. I then came in and I stamped some stamps out of our set. Let's see. I had heat embossed them. So what I did is I just took a scrap of the white. Then I brought in the car and the toolbox and the little gas can, and then I inked them up with our Versamark ink. Oh, after rubbing it with the embossing buddy. That's something that I often forget, but you don't want to. That's such an important step. Is it this little embossing buddy? I mean, and I've had mine since 97 or 98. I mean, I've had this a long time and it does not wear out, but you just swipe it across and it leaves a little kind of a powder that takes away static so that the powder only sticks where you want it to. The Versamark ink pad is what we refer to as kind of a sticky ink, so it doesn't dry right away. So when I place it on there, it will remain wet for a little bit, enough to allow me to pour the powder over it. So I bring in a piece of scrap paper and the embossing powder, and then I'm going to just sprinkle it over. Where's all my people today? Normally I have people watching live. Is everybody out doing something fun for the holiday? My husband works in a cabinet shop and they're not considering today a holiday, so he's at work, so I'm at work. Don't forget that when you do come on, you want to make sure that you either comment or put replay in the comment box, even if I'm not live when you come on and watch, so that I can pick a winner to send somebody something fun in the mail. So as you can see, I got this where the powder is on it, and then what I'm going to do is bring it over to the heat tool, heat it up, and that will melt, and I will get this, which again has kind of a raised feel, which I like for coloring because it kind of gives you an edge to butt up against. And then I'm going to bring in some color. Let's see, I did toolbox in red. Let's do a blue car this time. What do you think of that? So I'm going to bring in our Night of Navy. And this is the dark. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here over the dark areas where I feel shadow would be. And this is a pretty dark color. I'm going to go ahead and lay down some of the dark, like I said, and then I'm going to bring in the light. And then if I do small little circles over the dark, it will give me a kind of a blending look, which will do away with the harsh lines usually. You want to work with the colors fairly quickly together, because they blend best when they're still a little bit wet. And so if you're blending and you're thinking it's not quite giving you the effect you want, it's not blending enough, keep coloring. Just keep laying down the light color and it will eventually start bleeding together and giving you the look that you want. And don't ever feel like you're going to add too much ink. It's not really possible. And if you look on the back side, you will notice it's going to bleed all the way through, and that's totally normal. That's not something to be afraid of. It doesn't mean you overcolored or anything. That's just what the alcohol inks will do. So let's see. What's our car? Let's give it some yellow headlights. Give it some gray rims. So I'll bring in some smoky slate. Anyway, this is just the part where you get to play around with coloring. I'm going to bring back the red for our toolbox and the gas can. And this is, again, the dark I'm going with first. This is real red. And then I'm going to bring in the light. And again, small circles. And this is not as quite as red as my example, because in the example I used cherry cobbler. So that's just the only difference that you're spotting there. So if you like the darker look, you want to use cherry cobbler. Okay, let's come back to this. Let's see. Oh, hi, Barbara. There's one of my faithfuls. I was wondering where everybody was. You must be like snowed in over there. That sounds so terrible. You need to move to Idaho. You keep telling me I need to move out there. I think you need to move here. We have much better weather. So again, over the divider, small circles, lay down lots of ink. Maybe I should have done some of this coloring ahead of time, huh? Let's see, there was a little screwdriver in there. I do the base of that screwdriver. In the blue, but the rest of the tools are all just metal, so we'll do those in silver. So this is our smoky slate. Okay, so one of the fun things, yeah, I don't want a skating rink. No, thank you. This project is this card right here. We just did the embossing paste in the background, and I have already die cut the gear. I did it out of black. It can also be cut out of the designer series paper. I have seen several people say that you can get 3 of these out of each sheet of the designer series paper, but you can also cut out all the gears, the little ones cut out as well. So you can cut out every single gear that's in this sheet of paper with the dies in the set. Okay. Now for the other pieces, of course, there's matching framelits for those as well. And I'm using the magnetic platform. So it kind of gives it a grip. If you don't have the magnetic platform and you worry about things shifting, you may want to use a little bit of washi tape. Here's our toolbox. And because they're all different dies, we can do them all at the same time, which just kind of saves us some effort. So here's our pieces. So I'm going to take our basic black card base and then our layer with the embossing paste that's dry. And because it kind of warps the paper a little bit as the embossing paste dries, I try to get my tape really close to the edge and give it a little more tape than I normally would on an average layer because of the warping. It doesn't hurt anything when it warps, it just needs a little extra tape. Okay, so there we have that. And then I'm going to take the gears and we'll give that a little bit of adhesive. Let's see. Oh, let's give a strip across the bottom of the... I've got the Euro Classic is actually under the gear, so I'm going to stamp that and get that on there. Here's just a scrap. Do a long reach for my triple banner punch. Slide the end of that. Grab some Memento Black. This is using our new cling mount stamps, so they are sticky, which is really good. It makes them adhere to the block better and allows you to use the Stampin' scrub without worrying that it might fall off. It does not do that anymore. If the back ever gets too much oil on it or something and you need to clean the label, a little tiny bit of Dawn dish soap and just kind of wash them in that really quickly and pull it out. Don't leave it sit for too long. But Dawn dish soap will clear off the oils and allow the adhesive to stick again. So, again, this is way more adhesive than I ever use. And I had the glue. Hi, Wendy. Thank you for joining me and commenting. That means a lot to know that you guys are out there and watching. This one's sticking. Oh. Okay, this isn't quite giving me enough glue. Let's come to this one. You know, if I thought ahead of time, I think the adhesive sheets underneath this would have been a really good idea before cutting. Then it'd just be a peel and stick sticker. Things would have gone a whole lot faster on camera, wouldn't they? So I'm going to take this gear and just place it. I love this huge gear, and I love the card. I forget who did it. I want to say I know who it is, but I don't want to give the wrong person credit. is it Frenchie or Poodles? Somebody did the where you use the embossing mat and the die, and you use it to dry emboss the heart. They took a silver heart and used the gear and to emboss part of it. It came out really good. So I'm going to have to give that one a try. Let's see. I think I'm going to cut it off. I like the way this one kind of hangs off the edge, so I'm going to come in here and give this one a cut. Yeah, I like that better. Don't ever be afraid to, you know, do something different with the stamp than it was originally intended for. You might come out with some really cool effects. So there's the front of our card. This one's done in blue, this one's done in red. For the inside of the card, I used a piece of Whisper White and came in with some basic gray and used the little oil splotches. And just gave some kind of oil spills to the bottom over here. And then I took the gas can and just set it off to the side. And I chose not to put a sentiment on the inside of this yet. This one I don't actually have a recipient for yet. My dad was a really good mechanic, but he's not around anymore. So, but somebody will come up. I'll come up with an idea for somebody that's a mechanic. Not my husband, believe me. He's awesome with wood. Mechanics, not so much. So anyway, there's our card. So I hope you liked today's project and that you try to give our embossing paste a try. So I tried to keep it short. I was watching some of the comments, and somebody had said that they wished people wouldn't talk so much on the Facebook Live because we don't all have a lot of time to sit down and watch these things for hours on end. So I tried to keep this one short and give you a really good card to play with. And again, like I said, I have the online class going on right now. You can check that out on my website, and I will be back next Monday with something new. Thanks for joining me. Bye.